Hi guys, my name is Diana Kamadi. I am a student and I'm a member of East Africa Association for Radiation Protection. Currently, I'm the university representative and I'm so happy to be at Tailwind Solutions. I'm so happy to hear that there's a relation between nuclear energy and aviation technology, and I'm so happy to be here. I'll urge all my students, my fellow students from University of Nairobi, from Kenyatta University to come and join me as we advocate for nuclear energy.
Energy is in the heart of every continent to drive development, industries, infrastructure, agriculture, employment, and all other sectors of the economy. More than 1 billion people still lack access to electricity, while 3 billion rely on dirty fuels like charcoal and animal waste for cooking and heating. The challenge is to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels to produce electricity while making reliable, clean, and affordable energy available to everyone on the planet. The demand for electricity across Africa is growing every day. Nuclear is an attractive option for Africa because it's clean, reliable, and cost-effective source of energy. Nuclear energy and application has tremendous benefit to all sectors of the Africa economy, but the public perception of perceived risks with safety still needs to be addressed. Today, the Eastern Africa Association of Radiation Protection, EAARP, lead advocate and atomic ambassador, Collins Omondi, together with Diana Amadi, who is the nuclear advocacy student leader, paid a visit to the aviation industry, where nuclear techniques is used to ensure safety and quality.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Esther Wangoi. Welcome to Tailwind Solutions Limited. We specialized in non-destructive testing for both aerospace and industrial, and we also do sale of tools and aircraft maintenance consumables. We've been in the business for 4 years, and karibu sana. I'll hand you over to our engineer, Kamau.
Thank you for having us. Now, kindly, can you tell us your name, your position in the company, and also what Tailwind Solutions is all about?
Okay, thanks for having me also.
Yeah.
My name is Karan Patel. I'm the director and founder of Tailwind Solutions.
Yeah.
And Tailwind Solutions Limited was founded by myself. I'm very passionate about aviation, and the whole reason this company is here today is to serve that industry mainly. However, as the years have gone by, we're now 3 years in operation. We have found ourselves being able to support the industrial and the aerospace industry with our professional non-destructive testing services. And alongside that, we are able to also provide consumable chemicals for NDT, chemicals for surface treatment, tooling, and other consultancy and let's say professional services to those industries.
Yeah, we want to know all about aerospace engineering and nuclear energy, but before we get to that, let's go to your office and talk some personal stuff with you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Karan, you have a very nice office setup, but I want to know more about yourself. So, where were you born?
Good question. I was born in London, but I would say I'm very much Kenyan. My grandfather and my father were both born here.
Yes.
I was only, I think, 2 or 3 weeks old when I moved back from London after I was born.
Yeah.
So Kenya is home. It's been my home for 31 years now. Maybe I can say half of that was spent in Mombasa, because I grew up in Mombasa, and then the rest has been here in Nairobi.
Yeah. And for you to get this kind of knowledge or to start a company like this, you have to have good schooling.
Yes.
So did you study here in Kenya, in Nairobi, or where?
Yeah, so you'll find I studied most of my primary and O levels and A level education here in Kenya.
Yeah.
Up to the point where the university degree I wanted to pursue was one in aircraft maintenance.
Yeah.
And a degree in aircraft maintenance with a license in aircraft maintenance was not really something that I found being offered here locally.
Yeah.
So I traveled to the UK again, being also a British national. I'm able to live and study in the UK. So we had the privilege. I had the privilege of being able to be sent to the UK to pursue my degree in aircraft maintenance engineering.
Yeah.
And that is the professional level to which I'm educated to a degree level in aircraft maintenance.
Yeah. How did you find that course to be? Was it hard? Was it easy for you?
I would say nothing good comes easy, but if you're passionate about something, it's less of a burden and less tedious than it would be if you are not so keen on doing it. So for me, engineering is something I'm very passionate about. As a young boy, I've always been into knowing structures or knowing what components comprise of a certain machine or what something is made out of, taking things apart. So this has always been my passion, and I pursued that as I grew up, and I was able to decide what field I wanted to be in. And yeah, so I finished my degree about 7 or 8 years ago, and I worked as a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer at Wilson Airport.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I would say I finished my degree almost 10 years ago, and then I worked as an engineer for 7 years, after which I started this company, Tailwind, which I've been at the same management level, been the owner and the director for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Now, as we pivot from there, do you have a family, a wife, kids?
Yeah, I do have a wife. No kids yet, but that is something we'll wait and see what the future holds. Yeah, it's God's plan.
Yeah.
But for now, my child is Tailwind. I take that as my child is something I'm very passionate about, for it to be a world-class business providing non-destructive testing at a very high level of quality.
Yeah. Would you want any of your kids to take up the profession that you have?
I don't know if it's an Indian thing or something as parents do as usual, but parents always push their children to be doctors or engineers or and I think as time goes on, you learn to see that children are supposed to be given the space to decide what they want. So for me, it would be nice if my child followed in my footsteps, but I think I'm too young to wish that for now. Let me see where the business goes, how we can grow this into something that is very worthy for all our customers. We strive to be valuable to our customers rather than to be successful. Yeah. It is our wish to be successful, but it's more so and more important for us to be valuable to our customers. So it's something we tend to keep on working on as the years go by.
While we were at the reception, we saw some books about Safari Rally.
Yes.
So are you a Safari Rally driver? Or?
Yes, I am. I'm a professional rally driver, and NDT plays a huge role in the success of my racing. So you find the services we provide where we are checking for cracks using various methods. We're checking cracks in aerospace and aviation components. We also tend to check for cracks in rally cars and racing cars because it's as important in terms of the safety of the human life. And that's the whole reason we do NDT, is mainly to ensure and improve safety levels and standards.
What type of cars do you use in Safari Rally?
I've been rallying since 2014, so you're looking at 9 years now. Yeah. We're in the 9th year, and I've become somewhat of a professional athlete to that aspect. But the cars that I've used, I've started from very basic machines, very not, I wouldn't say cheap, but low cost. And I've shown my family and my support, my sponsors rather, and my supporters, my abilities and the talent I have when it comes to being behind the wheel. So the cars that I've been driving have been improving as the years have gone by. And right now we're driving a Ford Fiesta, which is one of, let's say, a very high level and a car with high standards, let's say. Yeah.
How do you balance between your work, the Safari Rally, and also family? So
that's another good question. I have a very understanding wife. We were dating for 8 years before we got married, so you know she's very well versed with my life and what goes on in the day-to-day of my life. Being an aircraft engineer, you know, when I was working for 7 years at a company at Wilson Airport, I was exposed to very high levels of pressure, commercial pressure, you know, weight on your shoulders to finish work very fast. So, you know, that has groomed me to be in a very high pressure environment. And then we come to Tailwind, which is again a high pressure environment. You have companies who need work done. They can call you today for it to be done this evening. So, you know, planes are machines that require very high levels of inspection and safety. And it's unpredictable when they'll need these inspections. You know, anything can happen. A plane can have a hard landing, can have you know, a bird go into the engine, can have some damage caused by a truck driver hitting it. So you find you're on call 24/7. There's no holidays for us, and so that translates into my life. Basically, it's always on the move at work. If I'm not rallying, I'm here at work. If I'm not here at work, yes, I'm making sure that I do spend quality time and make sure that you know, the family is also an important aspect of life. So yeah, it's you find actually you have to compromise on something or the other. So social life is not so great because you know, I work on my physical fitness starting very early in the morning from 5 a.m. So you find I'm awake at 4:30 daily, in the gym at 5 a.m. to work on my fitness to be a very good high-level rally driver. And then I'm at work. I'm the first person at my business at 7:30, and I wait the staff to come by 7:50. By 8 o'clock, everyone's in, and we have a good day at work most days. And then after work, I'm a family man, so I'm at home cooking the dinner. Actually, I enjoy cooking a lot. So yeah, it's like straight after work, home, cook dinner, and then I'm asleep by 8:30 because I have to be up by 4:30 or 4:20. So yeah, this is my life. It's my routine now, and the only time I'm not at work is if I'm racing. And thankfully, and you know, thanks to the grace of God, I have come a long way with a lot of the team here at Tailwind. And for business owners, you know, the employees and the team is one of the biggest, you know, aspects of why a business is successful. So I have thankfully a very good team who is here to manage the business and take care of it while I'm away. But you know, you find I'm only away for maybe 4 or 5 days at a time, and then I'm back at work. So thankfully I have a very good team who is able to watch, overlook, and carry out work when I'm not there. And then I'm always back at work because this, like I told you, is my child.
It's your child.
Yes, and I'm very passionate. I cannot leave my child for, you know, for long without worrying or you know, making sure that it's okay. You talked about that you are a good cook. What is your best dish? Best dish I would say is I make a good a salmon fillet with sukuma wiki. So it's a very odd combination. But being a very healthy guy, I tend to stay away from carbohydrates. So if I'm lucky, I get to eat ugali and I can make it myself. But I stay away from that and tend to look at fibrous foods and protein. So salmon and sukuma wiki, if you've not tried it, it's a very good combination. I'll try. You talked about, or we should go back to racing. I'm assuming it's a very dangerous sport. So how do you ensure that you're safe while you're racing? So like I mentioned to you, non-destructive testing is a big part of how we make sure the parts we are using constantly in the car are removed, are checked for cracks, are reinstalled. Safety in rallying is paramount, so there's a lot of pre-event checks done by other officials to make sure the car is sound in terms of its roll cage, which is a metal cage that is surrounding you as a driver. Inside the car you're surrounded by pipes, which prevent the car from crushing in if you have a crash. And then NDT is another aspect. You have your helmets, you have neck protection devices, you have safety suits which provide protection from fire in case there's a fire while you're racing. You know, safety is implemented everywhere. Yes, some people say you're racing, it's not so safe, but I'm a strong believer also of the Almighty, and He is the decider of when your time comes to an end in this world. So that can happen when you know, even if you're crossing the road to go to the other side and you know you get hit by a car, it can happen to you anywhere, anytime. So I don't live life in fear. I live life a day at a time, and definitely with a lot of motivation to be successful in everything that I do. Yes.
Talking about success, have you won anything in this Safari Rally journey of yours?
Yeah, you can say I have my own small wins. You know, we are the national champions of Kenya. We won that last year. So you can say currently I'm the best driver in Kenya statistically. And then we also won the award for the Sports Personality of the Year 2022. So you find I'm the Sports Personality of the Year in Kenya for 2022. We also are very close to winning the Championship of Africa, so you could say I'm the second best driver in Africa. But I would like to think I am the best, because there's a particular event we didn't take part in, which was done. We didn't do it because we didn't have the finances. It's quite far. It's in Ivory Coast. It cost a lot of money for us to take our car there. So our competitor managed to have the funds to do that, and because in the championship it's all based on points, we lost out on those points. So he did that one, and then we did the rest, and we won the rest. But because he did that one and he won the championship, but we beat him in all the other races. So I would like to also think that we are the best in Kenya and Africa for now. And I'm the first Red Bull athlete in Kenya also. So Red Bull is now a company that I am proud to be part of. And their family, and I'm part of the Red Bull family. So as I was saying, I'm very thankful that you know, I've had the support of my family in motorsports and in business so far. Yeah, so you know, when we talk about wins, this is also a win for me. I'm thankful that I'm able to sit here and call this company my own, although initially it would have been impossible without the funds and the finances that have been provided by my father and my mom in support of this business project of mine.
Do you see yourself rallying for a long time?
I do. It is my prayer and my wish to continue rallying continue to rally as long as I can, and continue to be the best for as long as I can. You know, back in the day when you and me were young, we had the likes of Patrick Giroux, you know, Colin McRae. These are drivers who have made a name for themselves in the industry, and I hope for that to happen to me also, to make my name a household name in the villages, in the rural areas, where the kids are shouting Patel, you know, as the car goes by, they know my car. So it's my dream also to have an impact on their lives, and I'm yet to decide how we're going to have an impact on the lives of the villagers and the people whose roads we race on as we pass through in our competition. So you know, these are things we'll work on as time goes on, as I make a name for myself. But most definitely, racing is not something I want to give up anytime soon, so long as I'm able to do that.
You just mentioned some names there. Are those your role models in terms of racing?
You can say I have very many role models. They tend to change from time to time again, as different people make different accomplishments in their racing careers. So I don't like to name my role models, because definitely you look up to different people who accomplish different things in the world and in the sport as time goes on. So yeah, very many role models, lots of mentors and people who have been there to help and guide me not to make the mistakes that they have made. Also is important, is an important part of life. Something I learned a lot from my dad is a lot of things he has made mistakes on, and he has stopped me from making the same mistakes. You know, these things they help in time.
Yeah. Now you've said Tailwind is your baby, is your child.
Yes.
Now, what prompted you to start Tailwind Solutions Limited?
Okay, good question. My family has been in aviation for a long time.
Okay.
I've grown up around planes from a very young boy.
So you have a culture of...
Yes, culture of flying.
Yeah.
And with Red Bull now I have my own wings.
Yeah.
So it's
wings to fly.
Yes, wings to fly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's aviation is something I am very, very passionate about. I love planes, and working as an engineer for 7 years, I was ultimately I was the last person to sign a document to allow the aircraft to be flown. So it's a very rewarding feeling inside, also of satisfaction. You have worked on a plane, or you oversee work carried out on a plane to a level of which is very you know, at very high standards of quality. So this teaches you no compromise. You know, there's no compromises when it comes to aviation, and it also teaches you a lot of working under pressure. So I worked for 7 years. Definitely I am also motivated by money, aren't we all? Like, you know,
we are all motivated by money.
And being a rally driver, it does take up a lot of my finances too. But you know, there are those people who just want to rally, they have no education background, and then there's those who are business people running successful businesses and also taking part in racing. So I would like to think myself as the latter, where I'm trying to run a successful business, but the business must make money. And so it was always my dream to have my own business, to make money, not to be always employed by somebody. And being very passionate about aviation, I had given my dad lots of ideas before he actually accepted to help me start up this company. So before I came up with Tailwind, the idea of Tailwind, maybe I had proposed 10 business ideas to my dad before he accepted this one. So he would always be like, okay, that's a good idea, give me a business plan, let's see. How do you plan to make money, what's the targets? So it was always a business plan. When he tells me to make a business plan, I was just, I couldn't make one that really worked out well. But came the time where I suggested we do Tailwind, because I know in aerospace the requirement for non-destructive testing is mandatory. It's a legal requirement. You have a legal requirement as an aircraft owner to make sure somebody certified to do the NDT does the NDT on your aircraft. So this was a niche, and I found myself being able to now convince my dad that this is a good business idea, and that's where the journey of Tailwind started in 2019.
Managing a business like this is not easy. So how do you do it? Just briefly.
Managing a business definitely is not easy. I was an employee. So I always was on the other side of the, let's say, of the field, where you have a boss who is telling you you can't go on leave, you have to work, you have to stay here, you have to do overtime today. And now being a director and the business owner, I have learnt a lot. I've made mistakes, and I've made corrections. So, it's all about, like I told you, it's all about also cherishing the team and the people you have, who are the machine that makes the business run. Without the people, Tailwind is nothing. So, there's a lot I've learned. Again, I'm thankful that my father used to run a company which employed over 500 people. So he has been a mentor to me. He has been guidance to me. And there's a lot I've learned from him, so that I don't make the same mistakes. So very, very thankful that I don't have to make mistakes, too many mistakes, and learn from them. Yes, I've made my own fair share of mistakes being a business owner, but it's not easy. It's not easy, and definitely having the right people makes it a bit easier than it can be. So I would like to say that yes, I have the right people. And like I say, it's my child, so irregardless of how hard or tough it may become, it has all my love and care and respect. That is the business.
Yeah.
So you know, it will prosper hopefully under my command,
Yeah.
and under my
Leadership.
leadership rather.
Yeah.
That's the better word to say.
Yeah.
And because I don't believe myself to be in command of anybody. Everyone is a human being. Everyone is allowed to make their own decisions, and I encourage this company to be a place for them to come and be happy,
Yeah.
enjoy to come to work.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of environment I want to provide to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have currently?
So we're growing. I think you could say we have about 10 employees.
Yeah.
We started from a very small number. Obviously, we all start from a very small number.
Yeah.
But Tailwind started in 2019, and it was supposed to be very successful from the very start.
Yeah.
But COVID came.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of 2020 was taken over by COVID.
Yeah.
And as you know, with COVID, there was no aviation.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no air travel.
Yeah.
And it meant that the company was not going to be able to generate revenue from the services it was started up
Yeah.
to provide.
Yeah.
So Tailwind, let's say we started from selling masks. Okay, we used to buy and sell masks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we moved into tools, we moved into chemicals. So again, all the items we sell, we tend to think that we are selling a very high quality product.
Yeah.
We don't lower our standards.
Yeah.
And so it's not been an easy journey.
Yeah.
It's been a tough one with also, like I said, the people who have stuck by the company in tough times, awaiting the good times. And so it's like I say, it's something, by the grace of God, we are here today with very, very good and trustworthy team.
Yeah.
Who have stuck through by my side through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone to be employed here at Tailwind, what sort of qualifications does one has to have?
That's again, it's a good question, and it depends on the role.
Yeah.
We have accounts, we have storekeeper, we have sales,
Yeah.
we have NDT. Let's talk about maybe the NDT
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
And for someone to be in NDT or to be accepted to conduct non-destructive testing
Yeah.
to the level of aerospace, it means they must hold definitely, if it's per my standard, they must hold a degree
Yeah.
in some sort of engineering capacity. They must also have done exams up to A levels for physics, maths, 2 basics, physics, maths. English is important.
Yeah.
Because when we do non-destructive testing in the aerospace field, we are literally given manuals. We have to follow instructions to the letter. So in that, understanding English is very important.
Yeah.
Interpreting English is very important. So
Yeah.
it's good to have very, very high level of understanding of English, maths and physics. Thereafter, you have to take part in courses, which is NDT courses. NDT, non-destructive testing, has very many different techniques.
Yeah.
So we have liquid penetrant, magnetic particle, eddy current, bond testing, ultrasound, and ultimately you have X-ray, radiography, which all of these involve training, prior training before being able to do the work.
Yeah.
And before being allowed to do the training, work experience must be gathered. So it means for someone to come and start doing work, either he comes with his own certification, he or she,
Yeah.
or they come as an attachment rather, as an attachee. They participate in the work we do out in the field or here in our labs,
Yeah.
and they gain the hours in each technique.
Yeah.
Once they gain the hours, then they're able to travel to, we tend to take pride in that we train all our NDT personnel to British Institute of Non-Destructive Testing Standards.
Yeah.
So none of us go to Asian countries like India, where it's very easy for one to get a non-destructive testing certification. So we know the UK has very high levels of testing and qualification of personnel. So all of us are trained and and certified by the UK British Institute of Non-Destructive Testing.
Yeah.
And in order to do their exams, you must have prior work experience. And so we have a logbook. Everyone must log all the work they do and how many hours it has taken them.
Yeah. So those are the people who are in attachment.
So those who, again, the work we do, we need to sign off. When I say sign off, it means if today we inspect a plane, maybe, for example, some aircraft, you have to inspect the place where the wing attaches to the fuselage.
Yeah.
Once the inspection is done, there's a whole worksheet which you have read as the inspector. You have followed each step and checked for cracks in all the areas stipulated in that manual. Once you conduct all that work, you must sign behind to say that you have successfully completed the task in accordance with this manual, and at the time of inspection you didn't find any cracks.
Yeah.
You are the one, whoever inspected signs, he'll stamp, and only then can that maintenance task be closed. If that maintenance task is not closed, the aircraft is technically not airworthy. So we go in as NDT professionals, we are approved to do the NDT work, we inspect, we sign to say the work is completed in accordance with this and we found everything is satisfactory.
Yeah.
In order to be able to sign, you have to do the exams. So attachment and attachees do not sign, they take part in the work.
Yeah.
They watch us, they help us, so they are participating in the work. And once they get their hours, they can go do the course, then they are certified, then they get an internal company authorization which allows them to sign off the work that they do.
Yeah. Now the main purpose of this interview, this visit, is to highlight the use of radiation and nuclear energy.
Correct.
So how do you use it in your field?
So in our field, X-ray is used a lot.
Yeah.
It is, I would say, it is the least frequently used method of inspecting an aircraft.
Yeah.
In that we check aircrafts with X-ray every 5,000 hours they are flown. So for every 5,000 hours they're in the air, we'll do an X-ray inspection. This involves us shooting from outside the aircraft. We shoot the rays from under the wing and through the side of the aircraft and onto the top of the wing. So you find we put our X-ray film if your aircraft is this way, with the wings level, your X-rays will pass through, and normally we inspect areas which we cannot access with our probes and ultrasound or eddy current. So it's a very rarely used method of inspecting, but it's still employed, and we are working with manufacturers to allow them to, or rather to allow us to employ more modern techniques of radiography inspection, which is using digital receivers of the X-ray radiation.
Yeah.
So we have we don't really have a radiation source per se. We have a battery operated source of X-ray and electric X-ray film receiver, a digital. So it's just a digital means of doing X-ray inspections. But yes, it's something we have done in the past, and we'll continue to do so long as the planes are flying. You know, X-ray and nuclear means of inspection in aerospace will not stop.
Yeah, you've been in aviation for a very long time now. What do you wish to improve on in this space?
Well, statistically speaking, aviation is the safest mode of travel to date.
Yeah.
You know, I cannot say it's not safe, so I cannot say I'd like to improve on the safety standards.
Yeah.
But in our region, there is or are some operators who tend to not be so keen on conducting non-destructive testing as frequently as the manufacturer of the aircraft would suggest.
Yeah.
These are loopholes, so the inspections can be avoided. Yes, it does mean we don't get to do work, but it also means safety is being compromised. So, you know, it's a catch-22, because also maintenance is the biggest killer of profit in an airline. Yeah. Okay. Most of your expense is on maintenance, on spare parts. So if it's not run well, an airline can make a lot of money if they take shortcuts in their maintenance. And it has happened in the past. All over the world it still happens. But it is my wish that, yes, maintenance is taken very seriously in that aspect.
What sort of satisfaction do you get when you get to sign off for a plane to take off?
It's a good feeling, especially when the aircraft comes, you know, maybe it lands, you're expecting, the pilots have communicated to you that, you know, it already has this issue, or so we're coming from, let's say we're coming from Mombasa, the aircraft has this issue, when we land, please check it out. So, you know, it's you as an engineer to troubleshoot, to understand the aircraft. The aircraft becomes a child also, you know, you talk to it nicely, you know, because at the end of the day, it's stress, it's pressure. It comes down to the point where you're actually, maybe you're begging the plane, please, you have to work this time, you know. So, yes, but as an engineer, you know exactly what you're doing. You learn also the plane over time, its behavior, its small problems here and there, those things that you just have to touch kidogo and it's okay. It's just a machine. Machines cannot run continuously without problems. So the satisfaction is knowing that you work for a company. It's, you know, the company has employed you, so it should be in your best interest to make sure the company is run successfully, the operations carry on smoothly. As you know, you and me, everyone gets frustrated when a flight is delayed. It's very important to avoid a delay or a cancellation, because number one, it's very expensive for the company, and number two, you lose your customers. So it's just very satisfying that, you know, as soon as you have done your work, if it's done on time, there's no delay, and the aircraft has taken off, you've actually saved the company a lot of money. And it's your prayer and your hope that someone is watching, someone has noticed what you're doing. But irregardless if someone is watching or not, the satisfaction should be internal. You should not depend on someone else to be proud of you. It's more to be proud of yourself.
Is your time rigid? When I say that, I mean, at what time do you enter the office, and at what time do you leave the office?
It's rigid when it comes to what time I enter. For 3 years, I would like to think 98% of the time I'm the first here in the office. I'm the first man in. I'm always the last man out. But it depends. If we leave the office, we have people that we work for who use the aircraft through the day, the whole day. So the only time we can actually do any work on them is at night. So you find that once we close here, our normal working hours are 8 to 4:30. At 4:30 we all go home. But work continues. So you'll find if we're all going home, some of us will go with our machine, we'll go home and we'll wait for the time we have to maybe inspect the aircraft at 8 p.m. So we'll go home, relax a bit, then go back to work at 8 p.m. and maybe work till midnight, 1 o'clock. Work doesn't stop in aviation. There's no holidays. Not really, as in we all take our leave when we can, but a public holiday is not a day of public holiday. Public holiday means we are more busy because more aircraft will fly on that public holiday. So in the aviation industry we don't really get breaks. It's always on the move.
So I'm assuming yesterday you were very busy.
Well, no, I'll be honest, I wasn't busy yesterday, but we were busy the day before that, working almost, we worked till 12, till midnight, and still the work was not complete, so we had to go the day after, during the day in the morning, to finish off. That is because that particular aircraft serves flights during the day, and so it has to be worked on at night when there's no flights.
In any business there are challenges. So what can you say are the challenges that you have faced so far since you established
Tailwind? Challenges is definitely being a director. You sometimes get cheated by the people you employ. You know, they give you, I've learned having a CV is not the only thing you should use to employ one on. So we've had challenges with, you know, finding the right people. But I would say the first challenge was COVID, which I think if I look back at it now, it's more of a blessing. It has made this company be so much more than just an NDT service provider. So we'll continue with that. You know, now we are more than that.
Yeah.
And we are still based, or rather we still operate a lot around aviation. So COVID was a good challenge to have, and we've come out stronger from it. And as time goes by, I hope my new challenge is not having enough manpower, not having enough equipment, and hopefully I'll be challenged to now buy more equipment, train more personnel, grow the company, you know. But yeah, I would say the challenges are, you know, it's part of life. It's you to decide how you tackle those challenges. I enjoy challenges definitely when I'm a racing driver. But the most important thing I would say is, before you are a winner, you must learn how to lose. Okay, so we've learned how to lose. COVID was really tough mentally. I guess you can say also elections, the months running up to elections was a bit of a struggle for the economy also, with unpredictability of what's going to the turnout. So yeah, it's been an uphill, very steep uphill climb for us at Tailwind, all of us. Unpaid months with unpaid salaries, and half salaries, and for me, I have hardly drawn salaries from the time the company started, because it's only as a startup, it's only 5 years till you start seeing a profit. So it's very important that the team are the ones who are at least getting the minimum they can out of the company, which is just a basic salary, as we grow. And then we will see what we can do for those that have been very, very loyal and very hardworking. And we'll also definitely take care of everyone else that's part of the team.
So what are the 3 words that can be used to describe yourself?
I would say it's a tricky question. I'm very stubborn. Okay, when I have my mind fixed on something, I'd like to push. So stubborn, persistent, and active are my 3 words.
I'll add you one: hard work.
Hard work. Yes, I would like to think I'm a hard worker, but self-praise is donkey praise. So let me not praise myself. Time will tell. The people will tell. The name will tell. Tailwind, And in Kenya, it's very easy to make or break your name, because reputation is everything. So it's my aim to have a very good reputation for this company, and make the lives of those who are working here, better.
In your honest opinion, is Kenya or Africa ready for nuclear energy?
It's like asking, are you ready to have a child? You're never ready to have a child. You have to have the child, and then you do things to make yourself better placed to take care of the child. So I would say I wouldn't say Kenya is not ready, neither would I say it's totally ready. But the thing is, we have to start, get it in, and definitely, mainly the main thing I would say is safety procedures should be put in place. That's the main thing. Nuclear power is not something to joke around with. If things go wrong, things go very wrong. So the main thing we should have in place is a very good procedural safety system to ensure the highest levels of safety are adhered to during installation and implementation of such technology. But these things can be improved over time as time goes by. So we wouldn't say we are not ready.
And lastly, before we finish, where do you see Tailwind Solutions in, let's say, in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Hopefully there's a lot of improvement in statutory requirements by the government to ensure industrial and let's say various industries are employing the use of NDT. We do non-aviation work, but it's very rare. Oil and gas needs a lot of NDT, but you find it's highly controlled. How getting work in that industry is not easy. And then you have other industries that don't have a statutory requirement to do NDT, which I think should be implemented, like lorries carrying fuel. These trucks carrying fuel, they have a lot of welds on them.
Yeah.
Those welds should be inspected every year or every 5 years.
Yeah.
Trailers, the towing point for the trailers should be inspected. If you go to Kenya ports, you have tugboats. Tugboats need to be inspected where they attach the rope that tows the big ships.
Yeah.
So NDT is employed in everywhere from railway to wind turbines to construction of buildings. It's actually, if we look at other parts of the world, NDT is in all these fields, and it's mandatory. Yeah. Here in our part of the world, it's I tend to think a lot of people have the attitude which is, let it fail, then we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, but sometimes that failure costs lives. It causes loss of life.
Yeah.
And someone's life is priceless. You cannot put value on one's life.
Yeah.
So the main aim for Tailwind is to improve safety standards.
Yeah.
I see Tailwind being again a very big player in the aerospace field. Me being very passionate about aviation, I want my company to be a valuable partner to all aircraft operators, okay, and one of the best and most, let's say, the cheapest partner, the one that saves them the most money in their operations. So I want my company to be that let's say cog in every aircraft operator's machine, which helps them grow. As you know, our slogan is pushing you forward. So we are the tailwind, we are the wind that's pushing you from behind. Yeah. And when you look at it from an aeronautical perspective, when you're flying and you have a tailwind, it's actually better. Your aircraft is pushed forward. You use less fuel. You save money. So this is our motto. It's to save you money and push you forward and be valuable to your operations. Yeah.
And lastly, before, what are the achievements that you have made so far since you established Tailwind Solutions Limited?
Just general growth, meeting targets, trying to meet targets, employing people, training people, definitely helping those that need help. We have not hit any milestones yet, but then again, I have not set any milestones because we are here to definitely make a living. So we have grown. We grow our customer base, and I think that's the biggest win. Is every new customer we get on board who is happy with our services is a win for us. And retention, so retaining those people is going to be the most important and most challenging part of the future now. It's one thing to get a customer on board, and it's another to be able to retain that customer.
Mr. Karan, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Hi, my name is John Kamonjoroge. I'm an aircraft engineer, which I've also specialized in aerospace, non-destructive testing, which we are qualified and examined in accordance to Aerospace NDT standard, which is a British EN 4179. I work with Tailwind Solutions as a senior NDT level 3 under the scope of liquid penetrant, magnetic particle, and a working experience with eddy current and ultrasonic bond testing. In this room, this is a workshop for the liquid penetrant. Basically, liquid penetrant works the principle of capillary action. Liquid penetrant is a condition monitoring technique which helps us to monitor surface breaking of components, structures, material, and any other material that can be brought in for inspection. Liquid penetrant standard, operational standard is ASTM E1417. The applicable document is that normally guides us on how to conduct liquid penetrant, the approved materials, which should also comply to ASTM 2644. Liquid penetrant is a line whereby it's a procedure. The component to be inspected has to be cleaned. After cleaning, it shouldn't have any paint on it, because paint and dirt will always mask defects. Once the components are cleaned, they are brought to the line, whereby we dip the component in the penetrant. Liquid penetrant is a technique which has different sensitivity level. In aerospace, the minimum sensitivity we use is sensitivity level 2. When you go to critical components like the engine components, we use sensitivity minimum level 3 up to level 4, ultra high. So once we dip the component into the penetrant, depending on the procedure which has been approved by the NDT level 3, it will give you the dwell time. Dwell time is the minimum time that the component should be in contact with the penetrant. There are two types of dwell time. There is immersion dwell and there is the drain dwell. So once your immersion dwell is over, you put it in the drain dwell. Once the drain dwell is over, you'll be required to do an excess wash-off. Excess wash-off is a very critical area whereby there are some points and parameters which you need to observe so that you don't wash off penetrant in a defect. In the excess wash-off, the temperature of the water should be between 10 to 38 degrees Celsius. You're washing off at a distance of 300 mm at an angle of 45 degrees. And also the water pressure that you are using, if it's pressurized, should not be more than 25 psi. If it's only the normal water pressure, should only be 40 psi. Once you've cleaned, you've done the excess wash-off, you can blow off excess water so that if there's any water trapped in bolt holes or any voids, it will be able to come out. Then we put it to the oven. This is an air circulatory oven, which it should be preset not to exceed 71 degrees Celsius, because aircraft components are made of very soft material and under regulated conditions, so that you don't interfere with the integrity of the material. Once the component has been dried, we then develop. Developing, we normally use form A, developer, which the function of a developer is to keep out or bleed out any penetrant that can be sucked in a defect. After you've developed for a given time, according to the procedure, you'll come and also inspect it in the inspection booth. Now, the whole process, how are you sure that your penetrant sensitivity is okay? How sure that the penetrant is not contaminated? How sure that the UVA light that you're inspecting under the inspection booth is within limit and is within whatever is required as stipulated in the procedures and the ASTM standards? To do that, we process a TAM panel. A TAM panel will process it along together with the component. A TAM panel has simulated EDM notches, which you cannot see with the visible eyes until you process using the penetrant. After you inspect the UVA light, it has the intensities which you need to observe. The UVA light should be within minimum of 1000 microwatts per square centimeter, and ambient light or the white light should not be more than 2-foot candles or 21.5 lux. Once you inspect, depending on whatever you inspected, as an inspector, you should be able to interpret the results, you should be able to come up with a report, and you should be able to say if this component can be taken back to service or is rejected and to be said to be unserviceable. It becomes unserviceable if the defect is beyond repair. It becomes unserviceable if the defect found in the component cannot be replaced. Non-destructive NDT, non-destructive testing, as it reads, is a testing of components without destroying them. Aircraft maintenance, aircraft components, aircraft structures, they are produced and manufactured under specialized and very close monitored conditions. And that is where when we say aviation, aircraft, air transport is the safest mode of transport, these are some of the reasons why. Aircraft are subjected to very high loads during operation, during takeoff, during landing, during cruise. The fuselage is exposed under hoop stress due to decompression and compression of the fuselage due to the pressurization system. Due to heavy landing, due to hard landing, an aircraft landing gear, an aircraft main-wheel hub might develop a defect, could develop a crack, and that is why the aircraft manufacturer, Airbus, Boeing, Embraer, de Havilland, Canadian Regional Jet, they have come up with an aircraft maintenance program, which they've given it to the aircraft operators so that they can come up with an aircraft maintenance schedule. An aircraft maintenance schedule, they have set aside non-destructive testing as part of scheduled maintenance, but some occasions it can also be unscheduled maintenance due either to heavy landing or veering off of the runway during takeoff or aborted takeoff. And for this reason, that is why Tailwind Solutions, we were able to think and brainstorm amongst ourselves, and we thought of putting up this facility so as to help the aircraft operators to solve this problem. Tailwind Solution, after going the vigorous 5 phases of certification by the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, we have been able to come up and be approved for the capabilities of the liquid penetrant, a magnetic particle, eddy current, and bond testing and ultrasonic testing. All these techniques are incorporated together to help us to do what we call condition monitoring. You need to condition monitor your aircraft component so that as by the time it's taken back to the aircraft, you are sure that this aircraft can operate in whatever condition that has been manufactured for by the manufacturer. The aircraft will take off safely, will cruise safely, will land safely, and you will be safe and sound. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Omondi Collins. I'm from the East Africa Radiation Protection. I'm the lead advocacy, and we are very grateful for Tailwind Solutions. And you'll be getting more of such visits going forward. Our vision is to see nuclear energy in Kenya and the rest of Africa. So far, we only have one nuclear power plant in Africa, and we need to advocate so that the policymakers can consider nuclear energy in Africa. We believe nuclear energy is the energy of choice and can actually power all our activities in Africa. Thank you, and looking forward to see you again.